The Boston Celtics defense was dominant. This is how they're supposed to play all the time. Robert Williams coming in out of nowhere. I love it. We're talking about it right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Boston, baby, we do what you can't. Locked on number 18, Tatum and Brown, J-team, step back. We gon' wet that and slay teams. Of course, the Celtics, who else could it be? Screaming like KG with the Larry O.B. Karalis above average, assessing the team status. Best daily pod, no cap, salary matching. Clutch like Bird the DJ, keep John on replay. Prime time, dapping up the truth on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. B.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast. Thank you for making the show part of your daily routine. Monday through Friday, I'm here for you with fresh, free Locked On Celtics podcast. So thank you for making the show your first listen every single day. I'm John Karalis. I cover the team for Boston Sports Journal. I've written a book called The Boston Celtics All-Time All-Stars, and I was one of the media voters for the Celtics 75th anniversary team. Today, the Celtics are celebrating a 110-88 win over the Golden State Warriors, a game in which the Celtics defense was dominant for all but, we'll say, three quarters, all but one quarter, I should say. The first, second, and third quarters were awesome. The first, second, and fourth quarters were awesome. I'm going to leave this in because I'm recording this at like 3:45 in the morning. And I want you to hear the thought process. I'm gonna try to power through this podcast. First quarter, 17 points given up, 15 points in the second quarter, 19 in the fourth. They give up 37 in the third. Okay, that was not great. Jordan Poole went off, and the Celtics kind of relaxed there. But every other quarter to hold the Warriors, they were shorthanded for sure, but still to hold the Warriors down to that low was pretty good. So, in this first segment, I'll talk about the big story. In the second segment, I'll get some of the individual stuff. And in the third segment, I'll talk about the Marcus Smart play that seems to have been, somewhat controversial, but I'll talk about that later on in the third segment. So this defense was just phenomenal. They had a defensive rating in this game of 95.7, which in March, their defensive rating has been somewhere about 107. So 95.7 points per 100 possessions is just an amazing, elite, crazy number. That is not something that would be sustainable over a significant period of time. But for a team that, again, had their rating up at 107 for the month, this is going to bring it down significantly. And they'll move higher up in the standings there for the in their defensive rating for the month. So Robert Williams in the first half especially was just amazing. Absolutely amazing. One of the more dominant shot blocking performances I've seen from him, coming out of nowhere as he has been all season long, and especially during this turnaround. Kind of parked out there with a guy out on the perimeter, just a foot sort of in and out of the lane, just staying as close to the lane as he possibly could. And you see a guy beat his guy on the, one of the Warriors beats his guy on the other side and thinks he's got himself a layup. And then here comes Rob just flying in and almost flailing in a way with a rejection that I can only describe as violent. And the most violent rejection you're going to find with the ball staying in play. It was great. And he had 3 blocks in the first half, 1 in the second half. Just hanging there off the ball. It has been a spot where he has thrived. And at some point, we're going to have to really look into what the Celtics do with Al Horford next season. I mean, that's not a podcast for now, but at some point, the way he's playing now, it really does make you wonder what's he going to be when he has to play more traditionally. And if the Celtics get a stretch 4, or if say Grant Williams comes in and plays, is Rob going to still be able to do this stuff? It's an interesting question for Robert Williams moving forward. For now, they've got Al Horford, and he takes a big assignment that allows for Rob to play off ball. And so there's that's going to work for this season. But beyond that, it's going to be an interesting. Just put a pin in that. We'll come back to that later. Celtics were active, physical. They were up in guys. We knew that the Warriors were the type of team that does a lot of back cuts, one of the biggest cutting teams in the league. And the Celtics were very good at keeping, as Ime said, body on body and preventing them from getting to the spots where they want, disrupting the timing. And if you throw off the timing, then passes are thrown that maybe get deflected or like fly out of bounds. And when the defense is playing with this level of effort, then the Celtics are virtually unbeatable. Unless their offense completely goes in the toilet, which it didn't, this level of defense, this type of defense, especially the first half defense was just out of this world. The second half, they slipped in the third quarter for sure. And that's, it's hard. The team went up by 24 and they relaxed a little bit. Ime kept calling a couple of timeouts. He called a quick one at the top of the third quarter, called another one later. He was really trying to prevent a guy like Jordan Poole from getting going. I tweeted it out, like, still a lot of time for Jordan Poole to get hot, and he ended up getting hot. And Ime, I know he didn't want that, and the Celtics got a little too quick with the ball. Turnovers, Jayson Tatum, bad turnovers in the third quarter. They just got a little loose. They got a little relaxed, and that all. They keep learning these little lessons along the way, right? Like Ime at the end of the third quarter, I'm sure he didn't say it like this, but could have said, see what happens? You mess around, you find out. This is what happens when you don't play it the way you're supposed to play it the whole time. And so, but they bounced back. They responded well in the fourth quarter, and the Warriors just could never get themselves back on track. Important to note that Steph Curry left in the first half and did not return. That was a huge blow. It's important to note that the Warriors did not get a good game from Klay Thompson at all. He shot 1 of 11 from 3. I mean, he just kept trying to find that rhythm and never could. So some of Klay Thompson's struggles were defense related. Most of them, I think, were he just was missing shots, and he really struggled. And so that played a role, and it definitely hurt the Warriors that Draymond Green could only play like 22 minutes. So there were, Moses Moody didn't play. He left with an injury. They didn't have Wiggins. They didn't have other guys that are key to their success. So sure, the Warriors have a lot of excuses that they can, like legitimate excuses. They can sit there and be like, hey, all of these things prevented us from giving Boston our absolute best shot. But at the same time, the time that Curry was in there, he shot 1 of 4. And he, aside from the first shot that he took, which when he took it, it was a sidestep 3. And I thought, oh boy, here we go. The Celtics were, I don't think it's a coincidence that the Celtics, this level of effort, turn into a big defensive game. Even if the Warriors were at full strength, that level of defense was going to keep them from scoring. So defense was on point. We'll get into some of the players who are on point next. First, let's talk about Athletic Greens AG1. Look, I'm a guy that I'm in my late 40s. I sit around a lot. I've put on a few pounds. I know that I need to get myself back into shape. I need to have a healthy lifestyle. I need to eat better. I need to just be better about my own health. And so I've started using AG1 because that helps kind of consolidate some of the things that I'm looking to do. I want better energy. I want to make sure that I'm getting all of the nutrients that my body needs. And sometimes when I'm running, I wake up and I have to run to a practice or run to a game, and there aren't the best dining options around, and I have to stop at a fast food joint or a coffee joint to grab something quick. I know I'm not getting everything that I need into my body. So with one scoop of Athletic Greens, I know I'm getting 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and more. It's just one scoop. You wake up in the morning, you grab they send you a little kind of a cup that's, marked off, fill it with water, you get a scoop of Athletic Greens, you drink it down, and now you're set for the day. It's giving you all of the types of things that you're looking for as far as the healthy lifestyle. So if you're keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, this works for you. It's sort of like a multivitamin that your body's actually going to absorb. It's hard with some of those multivitamin pills. Your body's you're going to lose a lot of that stuff. Your body's actually absorbing a lot of the stuff in this AG1, and it costs less than $3 a day. So maybe you want to get rid of your cold brew habit and you substitute this in. So Athletic Greens was founded by someone who had experienced a ton of gut health issues, and he ended up on a complicated supplement routine to recover. It cost him $100 a day. He developed this that costs you less than $3 a day. So he's figured it out. Go to athleticgreens.com/NBA network to give this a shot. All right. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NBA network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/NBA network to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Why not make Locked On Now your second listen every day? Locked On Now is a great recap of the night with our local hosts, our local experts, each giving their side of the story for each game. So check out Locked On Now wherever you get your podcasts. Let's get into some of the individual performances, and I think the individual performances begin with Marcus Smart, who shot 8 of 12 and 4 of 7 from 3 to finish with 20 points, but also 8 assists, 4 rebounds, and 0 turnovers. That is so important. Smart was in total control. He played extraordinarily well. He is the point guard. And, a lot of the haters out there have disappeared because Marcus Smart has shown and proved that he can be the point guard for a team that is playing really, really well. And you see him doing a bunch of different things out there. Pushing the ball and waving people. Come on, let's go. Playing with the pace that's necessary. You see him making some incredible passes. The thread the needle pass to Jaylen Brown for an and one. Like Jaylen hadn't been having a great night and, finished 9 of 21, 2 of 8 from 3, didn't shoot well, but still finished with 26 points. He got 6 of 7 from the line. At least 3 of those free throws came from and ones, and a bunch of these free throws came from Marcus Smart passes. When Smart made that pass and gave Jaylen a little bit of a wink, because that was just gorgeous pass from Marcus Smart. The alley-oop that he threw to Robert Williams, where it very much looked like quarterback to wide receiver, where the receiver's running a route and that ball's in the air before the receiver even turns. And Rob just knew by going off, he went off to the left like he was going to go set a pick, like a pin down, and he just cut to the basket. But before he even turned his head, that ball was in the air. And he just turned, jumps, and bam, there it is. It's right in his hands, and he gets the dunk, the alley-oop. Just gorgeous, gorgeous for Marcus Smart. So I think it's funny that people love to say, the haters, the Marcus Smart haters love to say, oh, Marcus Smart thinks he's Steph Curry. And then he goes into Golden State, into the Chase Center, and shoots 4 of 7 from 3. Just funny to me. Also, I mentioned Robert Williams, defensive menace. He and Marcus Smart, the reason why the Celtics had a lead up to, I think, 16 in the first quarter, or in the first half, was basically Robert Williams blocking shots and scaring the hell out of the Warriors, keeping them out of the paint, and Smart passing. Peyton Pritchard, got to shout out Peyton Pritchard because he was the catalyst. In the fourth quarter, the lead was cut down to 9 with just about 8.5 minutes to go. Then Peyton Pritchard hits a couple of 3-pointers. The lead goes back up to 13. Peyton Pritchard had 10 points in the night, all of them in the fourth quarter. And the Celtics, after that lead was cut to 9, over the final 8:22, they outscored Golden State 27-14. So they added 13 points to that lead to win by 22. When you beat a team by 22, you've won handily. And it was Pritchard Pritchard's shooting that really kind of helped that along. Look, Tatum and Brown both had decent games too. 26 points apiece. So they, 52 points there. They had 7 combined assists. So when you factor those in, they accounted for more than half of the Celtics offense. And that, when you get a 0 for 8 game from Derek White and not much from Grant Williams, who apparently tweaked his neck when he was diving for the ball with Draymond Green. When you're not getting that level of production from guys that you're looking for normally, Al Horford was okay, but like 6 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Like he did his job well enough to be a plus 23 on the night, but didn't do his job well enough to give the Celtics offense any, significant points. So it was good that Tatum and Brown could account for all of those points. They turned the ball over a little bit. Jayson Tatum in the third quarter, way too sloppy with the ball. Some old bad habits in that third quarter that really let the lead kind of trickle down to 10 in the third and ultimately 9 in the fourth. So, but they recovered well. So Tatum and Brown, Tatum shot 6 of 16, Brown shot 9 of 21, 5 of 16 combined from 3. Not a great shooting night, but 11 of 12 from the line for Tatum to make up for it. 6 of 7 from the line for Jaylen Brown. I thought that does it for the individual performances. Shout out to Nick Stauskas for hitting his first shot as a Celtic, a complete prayer of a corner 3. That was kind of funny there. So let's get to the Marcus Smart play where it was consecutive plays where the Celtics, there was a loose ball and Marcus Smart dove and Steph Curry ends up getting hurt. And then Smart comes down and is trying to block a Klay Thompson shot, and he ends up kicking him in the shoulder. So that started a whole thing with Steve Kerr and a back and forth there. I'm sure the Golden State Warriors, I'm sure if we listen to Locked On Warriors, there's going to be some mention of Marcus Smart as a dirty player. Was he really dirty? I'll get to that when I come back. First, it's that time of year again, college basketball. The tournament is upon us. I'm here wearing my Providence sweatshirt, the Providence hoodie, supporting the PC Friars. Now, I didn't go to PC, but I worked in the PC basketball department when I was in college teaching at their camps. I went to their camps. So I'm a huge PC Friars fan. I have a real strong personal basketball connection to PC Friars. So I'll be going to BetOnline for sure to lay some money down on the PC Friars in this tournament. Go there for all the latest odds, player props, contests, scores, podcasts, news, all this season at betonline.net. It's your number one source, and it's not just basketball. You got all your favorite sports, all your sports wagering information needs, live betting, and your favorite Vegas casino games. So head on over to the website or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, it's where the game starts. Please gamble responsibly. So Marcus Smart, doing Marcus Smart things, diving for a loose ball on a play that ends up Steph Curry rolls his left ankle, left foot, something on the top of his left foot that haven't seen the severity of it. They said after the game he was going for an MRI. So hopefully he's okay. But Marcus Smart dives for the loose ball, and it pisses Steve Kerr off because he said after the game, he dove into Steph's knee. Quote, I thought Marcus dove into Steph's knee, and that's what I'm upset about. A lot of respect for Marcus. He's a hell of a player. Coached him in the World Cup a few summers ago. We talked after the game. We're good, but I thought it was a dangerous play. And they did talk. So during the game, there was like yapping back and forth. And then afterwards, there's a picture of Smart smiling and his arm around Steve Kerr. They're fine. They're good. As far as that play goes, I think that Smart was diving for a loose ball. Now, we can talk about the act of diving for a loose ball, which is very much it's heroic in a way. Basketball heroes dive for the loose ball, sacrifice your body. I think too many guys get kind of hurt. You too much of a risk there diving for loose balls. And I was a guy who dove for every loose ball. I don't know. I think there should be an examination of what the real risk reward is there for that. But Smart dove for the ball. Look, you get the possession. I know you want to secure the ball and get it back. And Marcus Smart did that. But Steph ends up getting hurt. I don't think it was malicious. I just don't think that was a dirty play. That was, you saw, and Marcus Smart brought this up after the game. You saw Draymond Green dive for a loose ball, and he landed on top of Grant Williams, and Grant Williams got some kind of whiplash, and no one really called that a dirty play because it wasn't. That wasn't a dirty play, and Smart's dive wasn't a dirty play. I don't think Smart dove directly into Steph's knee. I don't think he did that on purpose. He saw the ball and he dove for it. If I guess you can say if Steph dove for it, then he wouldn't have gotten hurt. Or maybe he would have. I don't know. I can't tell what would have happened there if he did or didn't, but I just don't think that was a dirty play. As far as the other play, where Smart got caught in an up fake and flew past Klay Thompson and ends up kicking him in the shoulder and gets a flagrant one. Smart says, I was just flying in to try to block it, and he gave me a nice pump fake. And I tried to stop myself in the air, which didn't work out so well for me. I wasn't trying to kick anybody. I wasn't trying to block no shot with my foot. Literally, he made a great play. I was going to block him, and I tried to stop. He gave me a pump fake, and my body kept going, and the other part of me didn't. So Smart says, I wasn't trying. I thought that looking at it again, and maybe just by slow motion, just coincidentally happened to look like it, I thought he did try to block a shot with his foot. I thought he was doing like, when a guy's playing defense and you throw a bounce pass and you kick at it because you'd rather kick the ball out of bounds than have a bounce pass connect to a cutter baseline. Thought it was kind of like the airborne version of that, where he's flying by and it's like, oh crap. Well, maybe if I stick my foot up, then I can kick the ball free and whatever. He says he wasn't trying to do that. I still happen to think that he was, but whatever. Either way, yeah, I mean, I guess you got to take his word for it. But either way, the foot connects with the upper body. Call it a flagrant one, fine. Was it a dirty play? No, I don't think that was dirty either. I don't think he was trying to kick Klay in the face or anything like that. I think if anything, if he was trying to kick at anything, he was trying to kick at the ball. Now that's a dangerous play, and he shouldn't have done that. But I don't think it was a dirty play. I don't think there's any Zaza Pachulia type stuff going on here. Thought that he was, if anything, trying to make a play, and it was a stupid way to do it. And he got the flagrant one. It's either that or it was just an accident and there was nothing stupid about it. One way or the other, I'm fine with the flagrant one. I don't think it was an intentional thing at his face. On Boston Sports Journal, I linked to a couple of the famous face kicks, including Daniel Tice inadvertently getting kicked in the bubble by Pascal Siakam. Just a super kick, Shawn Michaels style to the chin. That was a foul, but they didn't review it for a flagrant, which they could have, but it was accidental and whatever. There's the time that Ira Newble kicked Mike Dunleavy in the face by accident. When you look at the video, it's completely benign and you barely even realize like it kind of grazed the face on the way by. But when you look at the picture, it's one of the most hilarious basketball photos you're ever going to see because it's Dunleavy who was following the flight of the ball above him. So he's looking up and he just had his mouth open, it was just open. It didn't mean anything. And then Newble's foot grazed past Dunleavy's face, where if you watch the video, Dunleavy doesn't even move his head. It's not like he got kicked and he fell down. He barely even reacts to the foot to the face. That's how much it grazed him. But the picture is so well timed. It's amazingly timed that it looks like Ira Newble is kicking his face in half. Like it's a Mortal Kombat fatality. It's one of the funniest pictures. I cannot talk about that picture without laughing because you look at it and the eyes are up almost like they're rolling back in the head. The mouth is open. The foot is up. Oh my, it's just Ira Newble kicking Mike Dunleavy. Google it if you don't know, if you're too young or you don't remember it, Google it. It's hilarious. The photo is one of the funniest basketball photos you're ever going to see. So maybe this kind of falls into that style of play. Whatever it is, I don't think either play was dirty. I know the first one wasn't dirty. I don't think that one was dirty either. I don't think Marcus Smart's a dirty player. You can call him a reckless player. You might even be able to call him a dangerous player. But he's out there throwing his body around. And if anything, he's more of a danger to himself on some of these plays. So that's the game. I'm going to get my thoughts together. We'll bring Tom Westerholm back tomorrow for the Friday show. We'll kind of review some of this stuff, look at the game a little bit again, hopefully after a Providence College win, since they're playing Thursday afternoon in their first round game. And so we'll be back for a Friday show. It's a Monday through Friday podcast. Make sure you're subscribed. Get this podcast dropped in your device inbox, whatever you use daily, Monday through Friday. Make it your first listen every day. Watch the show on YouTube. You can see my Providence hoodie over here. And you can see me talking about the Celtics. I was going to make a joke there, but I'm too tired to come up with something. I didn't know whether to go super conceited or self-deprecating. And basically what I ended up doing was sounding like a moron. So we'll leave it at that. If you're a listener, if you're a subscriber, please share the podcast. Tell your friends that they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast.